Costco Wholesale, home of delicious samples, rotisserie chickens, hot dogs for like a nickel, and now golf clubs. So what did I do? I bought the golf clubs, and now we're gonna test them out. Figured out how to try them out for myself. We're gonna kind of break it down into like 3 categories, I guess. So number 1, we're gonna look at price. Number 2, we're gonna look at just, you know, looks, overall attractiveness. And then we're gonna test out performance. Obviously that's the biggest one, you know, will these clubs perform better than what you have now? Bajillion degrees out here, so I'm probably sweating all over the place. Let's talk about price. For 160 bucks for 3 wedges, you get a 52, a 56, and a 60 degree. I feel like everybody wants to compare them to, you know, Vokeys or Callaway Jaws. Those wedges, obviously it's about 150, 160 bucks per wedge. I don't think these are quite on the level as Vokey or Callaway. They're definitely a little bit of a downgrade. Even if you look at more like standard wedges, they're still about 100 bucks per wedge. 160 bucks for 3 wedges and the quality that they are. I definitely say they're up there with, you know, probably the best bang for your buck when it comes to wedges. Sweating like crazy right now. I think I have overactive sweat glands, honestly. Let's talk about looks for a little bit. We'll start, I guess, with the front of face here. I feel like pretty standard as far as like the sleekness of these guys. They look clean. I feel like the only negative people would say as far as the look goes is the massive Kirkland logo slapped on there. Whether you're shopping for mixed nuts, oat milk, a kayak, I don't know. They slapped that same exact Kirkland logo on there. So some golfers might, you know, see that as a negative. Personally, I love it. I think it's such a sick branding move. My phone was actually overheating, so I had to move to a different spot in the shade. As far as looks go for like the grip, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this style of grip, which is kind of just like the standard like rubber. I'm more of a Golf Pride MCC guy with the cord grips, maybe get a little colorful in there. Honestly, it's not too hard to slap a new grip on a club, so definitely not that big of a negative. All right, so we talked about price, we talked about looks, which are important, but when it really comes down to it though, you're buying these clubs obviously for performance reasons. You're trying to be better at golf. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take these guys to the par 3 course, play a few holes, see if I can get some feedback, test them out in more of a game-like situation. I'm also gonna take them to a simulator, get some numbers on them, get, you know, what are spin rates, what are the spin rates compared to other clubs. So we brought these guys to the old par 3 course. I'm just gonna like play 3 holes, just see how they do, see how they feel. Try and get a little back spizzle, a little backspin, try and hit different shots. We are hitting off of mats, so maybe not the best. First hole here, we got about 81 yards. I'm gonna go with the 56 degree. First shot, that's where it hit. So definitely had some backspin on there. That's where it ended up. Typically I'd probably putt that, but for the sake of the video, I'm gonna go with the old Kirkland 60 degree. Pretty responsive there on that second shot. Just put a little 60 degree back in the stance. Checked up pretty good. So I would say as far as spin goes, after 2 shots, pretty happy with that. Another hole coming up here is about 91 yards. Same thing, 56. Pretty decent amount of backspin. That's where the ball landed right there and then just kind of spun back. Backspin, I guess, isn't really a problem with the old Kirkland wedges. I'm gonna try and hit like some flop shots with the 60 degree, see how that feels. Definitely pretty solid as far as hitting like different types of shots goes. I will say the one thing I've noticed a little bit, I've got my Wilson wedge out here with me as well. The grind of the bottom of them is a little bit more harsh. Like Wilson clubs got definitely a little bit more, it's a little flatter on the bottom, which I feel like makes it easier to kind of maneuver it around, hit flop shots, hit different types of shots. I guess if you're like Phil Mickelson out here trying to maneuver the club all around, hit crazy flop shots, maybe not the greatest club for that. As far as like an average golfer just hitting, you know, regular shots, you need to open it up a little bit, head it out of the sand, maybe a little flopper here, a little nipper here. Definitely gonna be fine using this guy. So we know now how the Costco clubs feel like out on the course, actually playing with them. What we're gonna do now is try and see if we can get some numbers behind it, test them out, get some science, big science guy. We're gonna head to a simulator, get some like legitimate numbers, what are spin rates, distances, stuff like that. I'm gonna test them out against 2 other clubs. I've got my Wilson wedge here, it's a 56 degree, And then I've got this Mizuno wedge as well, also 56 degrees. So we got 3 56 degrees. I'm gonna hit 5 shots with each of these clubs and just get the average of the backspin for each of these. I'm gonna start out with the Mizuno MPT5. For the Mizunos, the average backspin was 11,727 RPMs, and the average distance was 95 yards. And next up, we got the Wilson, brand new club. I've literally only swung it like a few times, so the grooves are pretty fresh. Expecting big things out of this Wilson. For the Wilsons, the average RPMs for backspin was 11,042. The average distance was 90. So here it is, the Kirklands, the moment you've all been waiting for. We're gonna see how the old Kirk Monies do, how they match up against the Mizunos and the Wilsons. Finally, we got the Kirklands, which had a surprising 12,333 average RPMs and 90 yards, average 90 yards distance, but just blows all the other ones out of the water. I did not expect that. I did not expect it to be like that big of a gap. As far as the tests go here, eliminate some human error. The Kirklands technically had the highest spin rates. I knew I was hot on these Kirklands for a reason. This video is definitely not sponsored by Costco. I wish it was. That's like a white whale of sponsors. But if you're on the bubble about buying the Kirkland wedges and you need wedges, or you're trying to upgrade your wedges, I would 100% say go for it. Appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.